Hello and welcome back to another video, people. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're smashing the likes and subscribing if you are new. Hopefully the mic levels are good this time when I'm watching this video back, because last video, yesterday, it was very quiet and I've been trying to figure out why, and I figured it out. But listen, back again with not really news, but I'm here to talk. I'm here to talk because listen, I'm gonna do this every week. Around the end of the weekdays, or maybe on a weekend, there's not gonna be a set time. It's not really a series, but it kind of is a series. We kind of the weekly update on what the hell have West Ham done this window. Like, I will start doing transfer streams when West Ham start signing people and start getting in advanced talks, and we start doing here we goes and all of that. I will start streaming transfer videos then. But there's literally nothing to talk about on stream when I'm talking about West Ham right now. And I don't care if people can say it's only the 5th of June. First of all, let me get this out of the way. You can still sign players regardless of when the transfer window is. And the reason why that is because players are signed for teams when there's no transfer window and then just join on the first day of the summer. So then technically when the window is open, they've officially joined. It just means they can't play for them in the middle of the season. You can still sign players. It's just teams are so busy. So only a few teams will just sign a player here and there. Like City signed Haaland when there was no transfer window, like before it started. And Kunku signed to Chelsea when there was no transfer window. Like, teams can sign players. So with West Ham in this window, this is the biggest rebuild, I think, and most important rebuild that this club has been especially in the last few years, because we're not battling to get to the next level anymore, even though it is possible to flip from one side of the table to the other, which is why there's no excuses next season, because I held my club to a standard. I'm going to keep holding my club to a standard. But also, there's so many things to do in this transfer window. There's so many things to do. Like, there's no news coming out really. West Ham are interested in players. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that we're interested. Go and get it done. I don't care if it's a sale or a signing. I mainly want a signing, but sales would be nice as well. Sales to players that I don't particularly rate. You guys know the names already. I don't need to name them. But I don't trust West Ham this window. I don't trust West Ham this window with Sullivan as our director of football. I don't trust West Ham this window when our manager's coming out and saying that West Ham don't need surgery. Now, yes, as I addressed in yesterday's video, maybe that is something for the media and all of that stuff. That is very possible. But at the same time, West Ham needs surgery. I'm not even trying to hear that as a lie. I'm not trying to hear that even if it isn't true. I'm not trying to hear that even if he doesn't mean what he says. I don't care if you don't mean what you say. West Ham needs surgery, in my opinion. And it's because the squad lacks a lot of things in all aspects. In all aspects, West Ham, if they were a serious club, they should be signing a player in the first week of the window. Simple as that. Brentford signed Kelleher. There is no excuse. That is someone that I was really pissed off about that we missed out on. And when we missed out on, cool, we were never in for him. But if he could go to Brentford, he could go to West Ham. I thought Kelleher would wait out for a team of European football, but because he's so used to playing Champions League nights with Liverpool, he literally saved Mbappe's penalty against Real Madrid. A man like that that's experienced that kind of caliber of European night, I thought would wait out for a team with European football. But even Brentford got him, so why couldn't we go after him? The fact that we're not in for him in the first place is even more upsetting than talking about, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. West Ham weren't interested, or West Ham aren't in for it. And listen, I've seen the link to Robert Sanchez. But those links aren't strong. Those links aren't strong. Unless West Ham are in advanced talks to Robert Sanchez, I'm not going to rant about it. I would, we're going to do business with Chelsea, go and get Petrovic. Petrovic is a decent keeper. The guy's not got the best distribution, but he's not the worst at the same time either. He's a good keeper. That would be smart business. But West Ham don't do smart business. West Ham don't do that anymore, especially with your bloody owner as director of football. Your owner as director of football, and his stupid son, a couple years ago under David Moyes, talking about, oh well, we like the Brighton model. Does this look like the Brighton model just because we've got one of the Brighton scouts? This guy, this Kyle, what's his name? Kyle McNaughty or whatever the hell his name is. Like, the guy isn't even director of football, but he's like a main scout going to do the business. What kind of club, yeah, has runs their scouting team with their owner being director of football, and their scout is like he's kind of the main guy, but he kind of isn't at the same time. Like, what kind of business is this? What kind of business is this? If I see a striker signed on loan one more time, I'm gonna go flipping crazy. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go absolutely mental. I don't want to see another striker on loan. I'm not gonna. I'll be real, yeah. I'm not even gonna guess any of the signings. I will talk about it objectively. But I'm not. You're not gonna see me happy, like excited, unless it's someone that I've always wanted at this club. I'm not gonna guess it, and the reason why I'm not gonna guess it is because I will tell you outright straight if I think the signing's gonna work or not. Don't get me wrong, yeah. But for me, it's a case of this fan base are the biggest load of frauds, especially online, yeah. Because these lot hype up a player and get excited about a player every single time, never learn their lesson. But as soon as they touch the ball in the first couple of seconds, they call them all their names under the sun, scapegoat them as the problem, then go at everyone else to sign them. What did you expect? You was the guy that hyped them up. You was the guy that hyped them up. I liked that transfer window last season. I did like our transfer window last season. But we even said last season there were still more things to address, but you seem to address a lot of the positions at the time that we needed in terms of squad depth or in terms of players that we needed to start there. So thank you for all of that. But because of bad management, we didn't get to see that. We didn't get to see that. Other aspects happened, injuries and stuff, like players being unhappy straight away, players not settling in. As this is why I predicted like 10th or something. I thought we'd be completely average and just lose a bunch of games, and then we'd win a bunch of games based on our quality. We didn't even show any quality last season, barring Jared Bowen, which is why I praise Jared Bowen all the time. But this fan base are going to fall for the same thing once again, where they hype up a player. I don't know who this Saint Etienne guy is. I don't know who he is. Yeah, I don't care how good he is. Cool, it's a gem. If we could get it for cheap, that's the kind of scouting I want to see us do. Not necessarily via the fashionable name, but go and get the players that are like ready to be ready now that no one else is going for, if the guy is good enough. I have never watched a Saint Etienne game in my life, but you know what this fan base do? They get the comps out and they tell you all about him by reading some bloody bar charts and pie charts. Brother, I finished my GCSE 6 years ago. I don't want to hear anything about charts when it comes to maths and stuff like that. I'm trying to watch a football game. I'm trying to watch a player, yeah? And you can watch a comp and base what type of player they are via their strengths in a comp, but you can't base how good they are. You can base on what their type of player they are, not how good they are, by just watching a couple highlight reels. And listen, if the guy does sign for us, we'll watch the comps. We'll watch the comps if they don't have copyrighted music, and we'll analyze it. But we're not gonna be like, oh my god, this guy's gonna be absolutely sick. We need a striker. Yes, we do need a striker. Guess what, guys? West Ham United need a striker. It's 2025. We say this every year. West Ham United need a striker. But you know what? We also need a few midfielders. We also need depth in fullbacks because we don't know what's going to happen to Emerson. Wan-Bissaka is our only right back. We need at least 2 new centre backs. We need at least 1 or 2 new goalkeepers. We need a left winger. We need an actual number 10. Who's going to play on the right if Bowen ain't there? Guilherme? Because Guilherme's staying, so hopefully he gets a chance in the wings. We need a lot of players. When I'm talking midfielders, I need a new 6 starter and I need a new 8 starter. I need a new starter for both. I do not care. I want power. I want technicians. I want tenacity. I want an actual midfield. The reason why I'm onto the manager, but I'm not onto the manager, is because when the guy was hired, I literally said I have no expectations for the rest of the season, and I said this guy needs better midfielders to play his style of play. Now, regardless whether he gets his players or not, the guy needs to fix up for next season. I've said that as well. You see, on the first game of the season, if I don't see improvement, I'm looking at him sideways. You see, if we're getting into a few games in and I don't see improvement, I'm going to be managerial, just like how I was last season, because the preseason's important. The preseason's important. And man are going to be like to me, oh, well, this is why they don't hire managers in the middle of the season. You see what, yeah? Potter could have been hired like 2 months before after the Leicester game, after he was pundit for Leicester versus West Ham. But do you know what this ownership do? They decided to sack him off. They decided to sack Lopetegui after losing to Man City and Liverpool instead of losing to the side that just came 18th. We was one of Ruud van Nistelrooy's 2 wins. 2. They beat West Ham and Tottenham. We was their only home win under his reign. There was a point where they didn't score like 6 games or some nonsense. We conceded 3 to them lot. The fact that I'm not seeing Mavropanos sold now, the fact that I'm not seeing Aged being linked with other clubs, the fact that I'm not seeing Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, the fact that I'm not seeing these men linked to other clubs is annoying. It's annoying to me because the only players that I know that we're leaving is the players that are going to leave on a free. Cool, Kudus is linked away. And as much as I've gone in on Kudus, and yes, I think he'd be good money for the rebuild. Sorry that the camera's gone so bright. As much as like he could fund a rebuild, he's actually the last of our problems in terms of the players that we need to sell. Him and Paquetá haven't been the level, but I'm still selling Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, and Mavropanos and them man over him. But I don't mind him going. I don't mind him going. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care if he goes or not. Because if he stays, cool. Hopefully you go back to the Kudus we know. But ultimately, what the hell? What the hell? So, listen, this is the weekly transfer update. West Ham have signed no one. West Ham have missed out on the opportunity to sign Kelleher. West Ham are going to miss out on the opportunity to sign that Strasbourg striker that we were interested in January, who's probably going to go to Frankfurt or some shit because of the Ekatike, Chelsea, Strasbourg things that are going on. West Ham, I forgot there was another signing that West Ham should have gone for that signed the other day as well, but I completely forgot who that should have been. Joe Bellingham. Joe Bellingham is probably going to leave. Probably going to leave Sunderland, and apparently they're looking for 40 million. Kiss my ass about 40 million, but at the same time, I understand it because they're in the Premier League now. West Ham should be going after Trey Hume from Sunderland. West Ham should be going after Ballard if they can. They probably can't even sign players from fucking Sunderland now, but they should be trying. They should be trying. They should be going after Ipswich players. I still believe like a Jack Clark would do a job. If you want a left back, Leif Davis would do a job. I think he was a bit shaky last season, but in a better system, I think he would do well. If Emerson's going to leave, get Leif Davis. But look at that. If you want to look at a championship, go look at a championship. Go and get Hayden Hackney. I would still take Hayden Hackney now. Cool. Freddie Potts is going to come in, but I'm not expecting Freddie Potts to come in and start. He's a good player though. I expect him to be in the squad. Ollie Scholes is here. George Earthy could be in a squad. I reckon he can play a job in the squad, and then we'll see in the future. Maybe he will get another loan. Maybe. But I think he's shown enough defensive ability as well, off the ball, physicality, and discipline to be in the Premier League. Because the guy was looking good anyway. I think he can do a job. If we're not going to sign 2 centre-backs, let Caelan Casey be 4th choice again. Because the guy is more than good enough. He just needs to bulk up. He's good on the ball. He's good in the air. He just needs to bulk up. And he can't do any worse than what we have. Apart from like Tadibo and Kilman at his best, he can do better than what we have. There's academy kids that you can put into the squad. Maybe Finley Herrick could be 2nd choice, so a keeper that we get. Maybe. But for the love of God, please get some players in. Do I think West Ham are going to get any players in? No. I'm trying my best to not invest myself into this transfer window. You'll be seeing videos, shorts, and streams all over the place, yeah? I'm going to be on holiday a couple of times, so it might be difficult, but at the same time, I'll pre-record some stuff here. But that's the reason why I've been uploading clips instead of videos like this, because West Ham don't do anything in these windows. West Ham aren't capable of being a proper club. They're not capable of it. And the problem is, that's been the story of our Premier League era. The story of unearthed potential to then just let ourselves down, which is why I might do a video on Premier League years West Ham edition, but also I'm working on a what ifs, the biggest what ifs in West Ham's history, because I asked that last week on Twitter and I got a lot of responses, so big up to everyone on there. But bruv, I'm not trying to, don't send me shit to do with Clarence Hugh and Talk Sport and Team Talk and shit like that. Fuck off with them Jacob Steinberg, like whatever, bruv. Jacob Steinberg's a weird guy. I don't care if he's a West Ham fan. There's a lot of stupid West Ham fans. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me and email for the inquiries. Chat to you guys in a bit. And let's hope West Ham signs some players. Take
Right, you guys, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Mike's, okay? Make sure. If you don't subscribe to Mike, you're gonna have a fat forehead and a big hairline.
I'm with the guy Max inside. Subscribe to him. Make sure you do. Still best content coming out. You know how it is.